All right, audio check. All right, audio check. Perfect. All right. Let me just mute this real quick. Keep that in the background here. All right, everyone. Today I'm gonna be working on let's see. I'm working on a little visualizer here for an indie artist. We're gonna be making a kind of a mac and cheese visualizer. So let me pull up a few things here and we'll get started. I think I have a few ideas. I'm just gonna kind of work on some Blender scenes here to play around with, and then eventually I'll edit that together and put the lyrics on top of that and make it into a lyric and music video. But we'll just start with the scenes themselves for now. Let me pull up. Alright, there we go. Obviously we're going to use the Ultimate program for figuring that out. We're going to use Microsoft Paint. Or I guess it's just Paint now. Alright, let's see here. And actually, Paint now. There you go. Alright. So I was thinking maybe just like as a start, my initial idea was kind of just to have maybe like a scene where mac and cheese is falling from the sky. Yeah. Can't draw straight today, can I? Turn my drawing pad a little bit. So I cannot draw straight, can I? That's okay. We have a box tool. Okay. I was thinking we could look up and we could see some macaroni falling from the sky here. I'm not 100% sure about how we're going to do the mac and cheese bowl, but we'll figure that out later. Have that, and then we'll just have it go to another window. I think we'll just have it pan down toward like a little coffee table or something of that sort. I think my projection settings for the Wacom is a little bit off. We'll have some nice mac and cheese in here, and we'll still have some little pieces of macaroni falling from the sky. Cannot draw very straight right now. I don't know if it's the drawing pad projection or if it's me. Alright. Let's go ahead and get started here. I guess I'll just start by making macaroni. I was thinking about the cheese and how I was going to do that, and I might use the meta balls. What are they called? The meatballs. Meta ball, yeah. Kind of have them like stick together, which might work, but they're just kind of hard to use. So I think, oops, camera's fine. I think I'll just start with making some macaroni. There's about a million ways you could go about doing that. I'm gonna go with the easiest route. And I'm just gonna delete half of a mesh. Alright. Hey, look guys, it's a macaroni doodle. Actually, now that I think of it, if I want to change it, don't got a ton of influence on the shape, which isn't terrible. Yeah, this might work. Not skin, solidify. There we go. Solidify the outside. Add a subdivision surface modifier. There we go. A perfect piece of macaroni. Guess I can just do full smooth. I'm so glad they added that option. But like with every good thing that Blender does, they of course had to make the modifier panel look like this. I really need to install an add-on for that to fix this, because it's basically I only use the search feature now. I really wish their add-on system is really good. I really need to import some of my add-ons in here. Blender's been updating so fast lately, and I haven't done a ton of modeling lately, so I'm a little bit out of the loop. But they've updated so much, and I download the new version, but I forget to move over my add-ons. I think I'm gonna need to download one of my add-ons or put it on here today. I need to get Sanctus library so I can get some materials for things today. Anyways, let's work on this bowl here. I could just start with a cube, and I might. I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing. It's been a little while since I've done some 3D modeling, so. But I couldn't pass up making a macaroni mac and cheese visualizer for a video, so that just sounds way too cool. Alright. Actually, that didn't look horrible. Ooh, okay. Hey, whatever 3D modeling I do, I cannot be as bad as Sonic the Hedgehog or Shrek, so at least Shrek 3. My 3D modeling skills will never be that bad. Move this to the side for now. Alright, if anyone else has some good ideas for the macaroni, like, cut scenes, or little scenes to put together, shoot them out in chat, and maybe we'll add them to the little board here. For now, we'll just start with raining macaroni. That will work for a basic bowl for now. I don't think it needs to be quite that high resolution. In fact, I'll leave it. Yeah, it's not worth it. Alright. Let's do some preliminary blocking and just kind of get a feel for what we're working with. And then you can model some more detailed stuff. It doesn't need to be like super photorealistic or anything for what I'm doing today, but we will hopefully get some materials on and stuff. This bowl's probably not quite flat enough to be a macaroni bowl. If I take this and inset it, that give me more of a flat surface. It will. Okay, now my bowl doesn't look super round either. That's fine. We'll work with it. Okay, table. Proportionally, I want the mac and cheese bowl to be about that size compared to the table. But I do need it to be in somewhat real world scale. One thing kind of important about these is like your FOV. Or your focal length. It should be a little bit higher usually. 50 is not bad. 60 or 70. And then we'll zoom out the camera. . Hold on just a second. Alright. I don't know if we'll see really under the table here. And then we'll pan from, I guess, the sky. I have no idea what I'm going to do with the background. Maybe it'll be kind of more, coin the term architectural. Like architectural. Kind of just a, not a matte background, but not a real background either. I don't know. We'll see how that turns out. Which one is it? X? There we go. So I need a comfortable position where when I look down at the bowl, I can see the macaroni inside. Maybe we animate the focal length too. We'll see. So X, pan from the sky. Okay. Let's start with kind of just, well, this isn't a great bowl. I'm trying to think. What should a macaroni bowl look like? I love how 3D art, doing like 3D modeling, makes you question reality. Isn't it great? Ah, there we go. Let's see. I like this one. Like the porcelain, I guess. It's cool with the little divots. One thing about streaming, you're always worried about copyright. Hopefully I won't get sued or something over showing Google images. I don't think you can. Well, actually, yes, you can. If you see one of these pictures you like, go credit the person who took them. Thank you. Yeah, okay. So yeah, the porcelain bowl kind of looks pretty cool. It's kind of what I'm going for. And then we can use the meta balls. We can use them for the cheese, and then we'll go from there. At least we have a macaroni noodle. I wonder if I take an... Scale it down. If I take this icosphere and we could try distributing some points on it and seeing how the macaroni looks. It's a little bit too big for macaroni at this moment. Let's pin this real quick. Distribute. faces. Alright, let's just delete the bottom half of the icosphere, because I don't want to distribute points on the bottom half. It's an unnecessary amount of points. Alright. I will join these together so that way I have some kind of base layer underneath, so that way you aren't just seeing to the bottom of the bowl. Kind of help with the illusion. And then just do instances on points. And we'll select our macaroni noodle. Okay. It's not terrible. We'll use the Poisson disc. I don't know how to say it, so we can try to help eliminate our macaroni touching factor. We may also need to apply scale to this. Yeah. This is tricky. Yeah, some of them are touching, but I'm not super worried. Like, that's just how distributive factors work. The only problem, yeah, they start looking uniform, but that's okay. Is there a way we could layer them, maybe? Could just cheat and, like, let's cut this off. It's not terrible, it just adds another layer. There's probably a better way to do it. I'll leave that for now, though. It's not the most terrible option. Let's see. Okay, let's randomize the rotation and maybe the scale just slightly. Random vector values for rotation. Ooh. There we go. That actually looks pretty good. I actually want to rejoin this and see what it looks like. Bottom layer is cooler. I mean, even if they are intersecting, it doesn't look too bad because it's kind of like, well, it's macaroni. I mean, they can break, whatever. The goal in 3D modeling is to hide your shoddy work. Okay. Let's do 1.2 and a minimum of 0.5. Oh man, we got a whole bunch of weird shaped ones. Maybe the scale factor as a whole. Yeah. 0.2 to 1.5 maybe? Oh, well, helps if it's plugged in. Minimum noodle size needs to be 0.7. Maximum can be 1.2-ish. Let's up the density factor. And I don't... Yeah, the less I think this is important that we have a density factor. Honestly, that looks pretty good right there. Got a few sticking through the bowl here. Yeah, the bowl wasn't very well crafted in the first place. Okay, let's use these underneath as cheese. Okay, so I'll place like a few big ones. Like, actually, hold on. Before I do that, let's just do this in edit mode. And man, that's a lot of objects. That is a lot of objects. Alright. We could probably turn down the detail. We could probably turn down the detail on the subsurf for the distributed mac and cheese noodles. Let's see here. Right. Okay. Cheese. Step one, just kind of cover up the bottom of the bowl. So kind of have a minimum where everything else is just cheese before you can see the bottom of the bowl. And this is kind of just a draft, so I think we'll probably redo it once or twice at least. I don't know. We probably should turn up the resolution on these. Maybe. Yeah, let's add little... Yeah, let's turn up the resolution on this. That does make quite a difference. Okay. Yeah. I'm not exactly sure how to add like kind of drips of cheese to this, but like I'll figure it out. Okay. This is kind of in the weeds of detail here, but probably should be working more on the blocking, but that's okay. This is important. Cheese is always important. Okay, so now we just have a big mess of geometry. Great. I guess I could do some... You know what? Let's just go for the lighting and see what happens. Let's make a... We're interrogating the mac and cheese here. Alright. Encyclopedia. No, that's right. Let's apply it to this. There we go. Then, apply a different but similar one. That kind of looks like something I would not eat, but that's okay. Kind of want to be in like a little bit of an off-white, again, like porcelain. Also, it kind of fits my color scheme that I'm going for here. Just a second. People texting me. Let's add a wood texture here. Alright, And then I'll finish my blocking in just a second. I don't like the color clash here. Okay, I'll just leave that blink for now. We'll come back to it. Yeah, let's finish the block out before anything. Don't want to spend a ton of time on stream today. I wasn't originally planning on streaming, but I thought about it for a while, and then I was like, well, if I... Last week I said I was going to stream, but that didn't ever happen, because I had other things to get done. But then I realized I could stream the stuff that I was doing, some of the stuff I was doing. A lot of it was web work, kind of some HTML, JavaScript, but it could have gone on here. I have better stuff to do. Anyways, like I said, this visualizer is gonna be pretty cool. Hopefully, the song's really good. I would show it to you guys, but I'm not sure if the artist would want me to. But I will definitely show you the end result of the visualizer. Okay. Table doesn't have to be quite this big. Going back to the little diagram we have here. What should I do for the background? Maybe knowing kind of like the brand and coloring. We could go for something like I'll pull a picture from here. There we go. Could do something like this. Kind of a general brick wall kind of background kind of thing. Wouldn't be too hard of a texture setup. It's a possibility. I'll leave it up there. I'm not exactly sure on the background right now. We don't need too much of a background either. Let's go back to object mode. Anyways, so like I was saying, yeah, streaming is a never-ending battle to me. I suppose that's every high school, college streamer, though. They can never figure out a schedule. I don't know if they ever will. If I ever will, at least. I do have quite a few plans. I want to, next week, or probably tomorrow, I'll stream tomorrow. I have a few ideas. I need to get this visualizer done. That's kind of my top priority right now. Or like main top priority. I have a lot of top priorities. But there's some other like 3D modeling things I want to try. I really want to work on inverse kinematic joints and playing around with that, like a robot arm kind of thing would be pretty cool. Kind of see what I can do. Oh, you know, I was looking at this toy. You guys have probably, a lot of you might have seen something like this before, but kind of like expands. And I was looking at the shape inside, and the shape was interesting to me because if you look, let me see. If you look at it right here, this makes a square, in a way. Wait, yeah, in a way this, no, yeah. In a way, this right here makes a square. It kind of seems like just like it was projected onto a sphere. You can see how it kind of curves here. But and then we have a few of them that are 3 instead of 4 connectors. And I was looking at it, and I was looking through it like this, and I realized it's exactly the same as a subdivision surface cube, like a Catmull-Clark, Catmull-ROM. Sorry, is it? Which one is it? I always get those confused. I work with both the splines and the Catmull-Clark subdivision surface. Yeah, Catmull-Clark. Catmull-ROM are the splines. Anyways, you can see how it like matches up. So here you have the edge with 3. That'd be this piece. Sorry, it doesn't show up well on my camera. and then you have your top, and it's interesting because it all folds in, and so it's like it's interesting, I guess, because all these points are following. All the points here are following on their normals, so they're all going in and out, like that. But it's interesting because it wasn't like a standard kind of sphere shape. It was specifically that. I don't know much about that shape in particular, so maybe it was just coincidence, or maybe it's like a more mathematical than my understanding. Maybe my understanding of Catmull-Clark subdivision surface is very surface level. I did look at the Wikipedia. All I know is that it's some recursive formula. But yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of interesting. Throw it on the back table there. But playing with IK joints and just seeing like what we could do. I'd love to see if I could create like that. You can see how they all fold. That's a lot of joints to do. So I don't think we could do all those joints because they kind of, they're all in these cross sections, right? Or these X's. Like a scissor. I don't know. I'm not mechanical, but be interesting to see if you could come up with a way to build that in Blender. Anyways, let's see, mac and cheese visualizer. Block out. I need to make it rain macaroni. We can do that with geometry nodes. That's simple enough. We can just make them fall, and we can make them fall at a little bit of a different rate, each one. And animating the camera won't be too hard. Now I'm just really thinking a lot about the visual piece. We could make some like cheese drip from the sky. We could try to use that to kind of somehow draw your eye toward the center, because I need to keep, obviously when you're looking down, the bowl is directly in the center and it captures your eye. I just need to figure out a way, even when it's random with how the particles are falling, kind of how to keep their eye drawn in on the center. Could do that with lighting. We can do that, well, the goal, if we can do it with all those things combined. Let's work on the shading here, and hopefully, there you go. If it's been a long time since I touched modeling, it's been forever since I touched material nodes, because most of the time I just use libraries, but I think today we'll use material nodes here. That's interesting. I have not taken a look at the new noise textures. Texture, noise texture, magic texture, image texture, gradient texture, sky texture, wave texture. Okay, I'm assuming this is more or less the noise texture, yeah. I do have Node Wrangler. I'm not sure if that changes too much. We'll come back to that. Okay, let's use that to influence our... Let's use that to... I think I'll use cycles for this. Ooh. Okay, switch out of any material modes, go to cycles. I'm streaming, so I really... Oh wait, it's already at 1024. That's fine, as long as I don't press the render button. GPU. I'm sure there's a way to set it to do GPU compute. Always set the device to GPU compute automatically, but I do not remember how, if there is a way. Oh, good. I can I can still stream while using using viewport. Did I get stuck in? I also hate getting my viewport stuck. Alright. Hmm. Three yards like kind of weird because it always looks. It's not that it even looks bad. It just looks really weird until it's done. And then maybe somewhat shiny. Somewhat shiny. Okay. And then we need to use Subsurf. I mean, I hate to use it, but what are these settings? I've never seen random walk skin. Yeah, it's been a little bit of a while since I touched these. I'll just tell you to use it for now. How about that? Uh-oh. Radius, scale. What's with the green? I'm not quite understanding. And film emission, sheen, code transmission. Man, they look like McDonald's fries, to be honest. Like how they turn green. Let's see. When in doubt, look up a YouTube video. Dun dun dun. Sorry, I did not mean to rickroll you. My browser automatically opens to that. My YouTube feed. Okay. How to use streaming used to be a lot harder, but I think since I started actually watching more people do streams, I got less scared of it, and I was like, okay, yeah, it's a perfectly fine, and like, it's not something to be super stressed about. Being live, it's not a big deal. Especially, I mean, as long as everything's set up right, you're fine. I was just kind of worried because I was like, I need to stream on a constant basis, and that's not exactly. It is true. It's better if you can be consistent, but if you can't, it doesn't hurt to stream anyway. Let's see here. Sorry. Interesting. Okay, so this should control the green factor, which it does. Yay! Okay, and what does this control? Red factor, RGB, blue. Blue's a little strange. Okay. I think we only need very little of this. If you're wondering, I still do not know what I'm doing with the Subsurf. I don't know what I should be using, even. I take that back. The only weird thing about streaming is when you have to stop in the middle to watch a YouTube tutorial on how to use how to use something. Okay. So we can make it somewhat translucent too. Have some transmission. That should help a little bit. I feel like macaroni's kind of so thin that it kind of does have that translucency. I'm gonna increase the light source here. And this is why I have a 4070. Okay. The other hard part about streaming is you kind of have to talk sometimes, and then I forget to talk. I'm too busy evaluating my circumstances. But otherwise, also it's been so long since I touched some of this stuff, I have to evaluate quite a lot to be like, what's going on here? I don't know how I feel about this whole new Blender system of hiding stuff, you know, with the modifier tabs and things like that. I guess it is kind of cleaner, but like I have to open all this stuff up anyway to use it, so I'm not sure that it's beneficial. But I guess it looks nice in the reels, so you know. Let's see. It's old. Not quite confident. Okay, I definitely don't want to turn down alpha transparency. Actually, do I want to turn down alpha No, because that's... I wonder if there's an IOR for macaroni. IOR for macaroni. Yes, as I just need to know the index of refraction. I don't know if it'll help me. I honestly don't know what I'm doing with the material system. No, Not quite sure. Okay. What else can we play with? Ooh. Ooh. Wait, where did normal? Oh, there's normal. Really? You guys ever get to the point in your Google and YouTube searches where you can type something in and it'll automatically assume that it's talking about Blender 3D? Yeah. I've gotten to that point. Or it assumes I'm talking about Java. Yeah, either assumes it knows if I'm talking about Java. I don't even have to tell it how to add two numbers Java. I just put how to add two numbers and it automatically gives it back in Java. Automatically pulls up the nearest Stack Overflow or Blender community post. Okay. I'm tired of working on the mac and cheese. We'll go on to working on the actual drippy cheese. It should be a little bit easier. Okay. Then maybe let's import Sanctus and try to get some other stuff up, and then we'll leave it at that for today, probably. I didn't expect to stream a long time today. I just kind of wanted to actually stream, because otherwise it will never happen. Let's see. I'm sure there's a trick I'm missing with the macaroni that I'm totally forgetting right now about material nodes. If you guys remember, let me know. Okay. Yeah. Base color, noise, texture. Let's see what the noise texture looks like. Interesting. Yeah. Something like detail. Okay. All right. Because I could see the change. I probably could mess with the color ramp on the macaroni itself and get some better results. Okay, it doesn't need to be that big of a scale. It needs to be like that. Okay. We'll take that. We'll use different yellows. A little glossy. And then I need some surface detail. Probably should add some more metaballs to add some more detail in the crevices. Maybe. Let's see. Yeah, we can definitely add quite a bit of a bump texture. Bump to normal. Let's see. Alright, I think I'm gonna have to end after this. Hold on just a second. Yeah, alright, I'll pick this up tomorrow. If you guys want to join me then. Be still working on this visualizer. Probably gonna get some more work done on this tonight, but more on the lyric side and putting together some editing stuff. We'll get down the rest of the streams later. I'm just gonna save it right here. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and hopefully see